and thank you. Thank you, Chairman. And thank you, Minister, for your reply. Well, I don't agree with what you've said there, quite a lot of what you've said, because you said the amendments have been comprehensively considered. There's no way you considered. I wouldn't think you considered any amendment, to be quite honest with you. Imagine an amendment that we spoke about 2 weeks ago, was it, when we first met about this, about...
like, we were not going back on the amendments that we discussed 2 weeks ago.
It's very much tied into what we're talking about now. So it's more or less the same.
Give you a small bit of latitude now.
Yeah, it's tied into the High Court, it's tied into the appeal. It's tied in, and the High Court is what I want to bring up, and the balance of probability. But like it comes down to the first stage you have to is to put forward an appeal, and you even said here the other day you were even considering what was it going to be, the €25 that the ruling independent put forward to my submission. You didn't have your mind made up at all before you came in here to the meeting as to what was going to happen. And at the end of the day, the fisherman, if he's going to go to the High Court, he needs to know, can he afford to go to the High Court? And if you as Minister can't even at this stage look at that type of an amendment and come in here beforehand and say, OK, we're accepting that, or we're not, it's going to be 100,000, or it's going to be 10,000, or it's going to be 5,000, it's going to be €5. You haven't comprehensively considered these amendments at all. You chucked them in the bin before you came in here. So I'm astonished to think that, and many more fishermen that have listened to this, and the organisations that listened to this before this are astonished. We need change in this. We need to go back to Europe. There needs to be laws. There needs to be laws that are initially agreed to by the fishing industry in this country. And yes, you're saying we're the last boys in the class. But let's be honest, we were the first boys, we're the whipping boys in the class in the Brexit negotiations, and we got our fair whipping. There's no doubt about that. Now we need to be the last boys in the class. We certainly don't need to comply and jump and pander to everything Europe wants. We need to be able to put in our own amendments here and our own safeguards for our fishermen that are fishing the waters, because they're, as I said, in a dire situation as we speak. So for you to say that these amendments and that amendment in relation to the High Court has been comprehensively considered, I'm completely in disagreement with that, because I can see the way these amendments are being just thrown out one by one, regardless of what changes we asked for. You were totally opposed to them. So, you know, I'm definitely going to push these amendments, because I think they're hugely important. I think changes need to be made to this before we take it any further. It's the first piece of work that's been done in relation to fishing since the dreadful Brexit negotiations, and this is another dreadful deed for fishermen, and I certainly would not be in any way, shape or form supporting this, and I'd be asking to go back and maybe support the fishermen in this one here, and go back out to Europe and fight and be seen to fight for the Irish, because certainly the fight is, as far as they're concerned, the fishermen out there is being lost. You know, that's my take on it. Thanks, Chair.